Hey everybody, week 3 of college basketball just ended. So here are my 5 takeaways. Well, 4 takeaways and then one kind of mailbag thing at the end. First thing is TCU versus NC State. The best game of Sunday by far. And my number one takeaway is Sedona Prince is good. Like, this is my fault for not watching her at Oregon. And then I think she was hurt all or most of last season. But she is good. She dropped 31 points and had 16 rebounds. And the crazy thing was just where her points came from. They were from everywhere. She isn't just a back to the basket big, which is what I thought. She's nimble. She can shoot a mid range. She shot a couple long twos. It would be amazing if she could extend it out to three and shoot those as well. But she looks very comfortable in the mid range. Kind of like how Liz Kitley was good at the turnarounds. Sedona Prince looks comfortable doing that, but she's even a little bit more agile than Kitley. And I just think that she looks great. And I was not familiar with her game at all. I did not know she was as good, as dominant as she was. And if this was a fluke, then so be it. But if it's not a fluke, then she is a first round pick. Then she is a first round pick and potentially a star in the WNBA. But the other thing from this game was it was great to see HVL back in her bag again. It was great to see her having fun. It felt like I was looking at the Louisville HVL again, which is always great. She had a good game. She was herself, which is awesome. She even looked a little bit better at her point guard play. She looked better with some assists. It helps with the pick and roll partner being Sedona Prince, who is 6'7" and can pop or roll. But she played great. The other thing I want to see from TCU though is Madison Connor. Madison Connor is a great shooter from three, and she can take it to the hole. So I just think she needs to get some more looks in. And I think that the combination of her, HVL, and Sedona Prince can be a really good team. And they should obviously be ranked, which they will be since they beat NC State. But I think they're a really good team. They're easily top 20 and possibly a top 15 team. But I think they're going to be a really good team. And I'm excited to see what it looks like when they play some more players. But if Sedona Prince can play like that, then wow. Then actually wow. On the NC State side, um, Zamara Jones didn't have the best game. I still like her though. I think she's really good. I think she was struggling at the beginning, and if a couple more of those fell through, then I don't know. There's no telling which way this game would have gone. I think NC State could have had a good chance to win. It seemed like the coach pulled away from her a bit in the second half because of that slow start in the first half, which is not what I would have done because I think she is going to be a really good player in the future. And I think sometimes you're going to miss, but you got to keep shooting. The other person I want to talk about on the NC State side is Asia James. Whenever anybody talks about the draft, they always talk about Sanaya Rivers, and rightfully so. But Asia James is really, really good. She's really good. The way she can score the ball, the way she can shoot pull-up threes especially, is special. In this league, I don't think there's anybody besides Paige and Juju who are better than her at the pull-up three. And that is amazing company to be in. Anytime you are behind Paige and Juju, it's basically like you're first in the league. TCU versus NC State. TCU should totally be ranked. Sedona is amazing. I did not know she was like that. Welcome to I have to watch TCU now because I need to watch Sedona because she might get picked. She's gonna get picked in the first round draft if she keeps playing like this. So another team to add to my watch list. The other big thing that happened this Sunday was the WNBA draft lottery, and the Dallas Wings won, which I am very, very conflicted in. My favorite team is the Liberty, and then my second favorite team is now wherever Caitlin Clark plays, so the Fever. And my third favorite team is the Wings because I'm from there, and I should be happy. In theory, I should be like, "Woo, go Wings!" You know, we get Paige, and that's awesome. And I don't have to watch another team. I can just stick with them. My one thing is, Paige is obviously a generational player, a potential MVP, a perennial all-star. Paige is going to be amazing. I mean, we knew this coming out of high school. We knew this when she was the first and only freshman to win Player of the Year. But if there was a tiny, tiny, tiny chance of her not showing up to her true potential, it would be because the Wings drafted her and the Wings drafted her. I I think she'll be fine, but oh my gosh, there could not be a worse team to go to than the Wings. It sucks. I would love to see her go to LA. I know she would love to go to LA, but LA needed her. I mean, you could see when Odyssey Sims came in, who came from the Wings. By the way, this is why she should not be at the Wings, because the Wings do not know how to run a team. But anyway, when Odyssey Sims came into LA, you could see how much they changed and how much better they got. Being able to have a point guard that can assist and score, which is obviously what Paige can do, changed them completely. And if you think about what the team would look like with Brink back, with a healthy Brink back, because Odyssey and Brink didn't play together, Rickea Jackson on her second year taking that jump, and Paige running the helm. I mean, that's what dreams are made of. And in LA, no less. I don't know. At least she'll be in Dallas, where there's nothing to do and she can focus. I heard some people say that they don't think Paige and Enrique are going to be a good fit, but I couldn't agree any less. I think they're going to be awesome. I think that backcourt is going to be one of the best backcourts in the league. Paige is a amazing player who doesn't even need the ball. She makes everybody around her better, like Caitlin does, and she can score within the flow of the game like nobody you've ever seen. So Enrique can still be her ball dominant self. She can play shooting guard this time, which would be awesome to see Enrique at shooting guard. So she can play shooting guard, and Paige can handle the main ball handling duties and score 20, a quiet 20, while Enrique scores her loud 20. I think it's going to be a great backcourt, and I feel bad for the other 10 point guards that the Wings drafted in the past 3 years, because I don't know why the Wings keep drafting point guards, and I really would have told them don't draft the point guard this year, but I guess when it's paid, you have to draft the point guard. um, the one question this really brings up is Satu going to stay? Because if Satu stays, now this is a team. I mean, this is a team that free agents might want to go to. They're getting a new arena. They're getting a new arena, not this year, but next year. I mean, Satu there changes things. With Satu, Paige, and Enrique, now you have a real team. Now you have something that can really make a run into the playoffs. So will Satu stay is a big question I have from that. If I was Satu, I would not. I would go to the Fever. I mean, the Fever just looks so fun, and their stadium is awesome. Their city loves them. Since the lottery happened, here are my mock first 5 draft picks. Obviously, the Wings are taking Paige, and then LA is hard. LA is rough. I mean, they are gonna take Kiki Area Finn, but they don't really need her. They have Dearica Hamby at the 4, who was amazing last year. They have Rickea Jackson at the 3. Not that Kiki could play 3. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe he could play 3. But they have Rickea. They have Cam Brink at the 5. I don't know if she can play 5, but they have her there, and they have Leah Rue there. And I don't know. They have a team. They literally have everybody except the point guard. They have Kia Nurse. They have Rickea Jackson. Anyway, they have a good team. They need a point guard, and a lot of teams need a point guard. But I just don't think you can pass up on Kiki Ira Finn. For the Sky, I have been taking Olivia Miles. I think if you ask me what the Sky needs, they need a point guard that can shoot to pair with Kennedy Carter. And if you ask me at any point in this draft besides the lottery, who is a point guard that can shoot, the obvious answer is Tahina Papau. But it's a lottery. So we're going with Olivia Miles. And Olivia Miles is obviously a great facilitator, which would be awesome. Being able to run the pick and roll for Olivia Miles with Camila Cardoso or Angel Reese is going to be great. Having her as a ball handler and as a defensive presence is going to help the Sky out. And she is on the heater from 3. It's 4 games. It's very early. The teams have been, not always the best, but she's shooting 50% from 3 right now. She made 4 threes last game. And if she can keep this up, then the Sky got a steal at number 3, because she's already a top 15 basketball player in the league. She was coming into this year. If she can shoot even 35% from 3, I think you can make an art. You can argue. You can make a case at least that she should be top 5 in women's college basketball. So if she can shoot 35% from three, or if she can shoot any higher than that, and it seems like she can be a legit shooter in the WNBA, then this guy had their point guard of the future, which is awesome. I loved watching this guy when they had Vandersloot. Vandersloot was my favorite player in 2020, 21, and 22. So so having Olivia Miles go back there would be amazing. Number four for the Mystics, I don't know what they need. Um, Partly because I don't know exactly what they want to do. I mean, they have to go to a rebuild, and I'm not sure what pieces they're going to keep, which pieces they're going to trade, what the Valkyries are going to take. But the Mystics don't need a four because they have Aaliyah Edwards, and I think she's going to be great. And they have Shakira Austin at the five, so they don't need a five. Um, so it's really a mixed bag who they're going to take. For me, I have the Mystics going with Sonia Citron. I am really high on Sonia Citron. I was higher on her coming out of high school. I really liked her at Notre Dame. I think she's going to be a great player in the league, a perennial all star. But at worst case scenario, she is a 6'1" wing who can slash and who shoots 40% from three. And who doesn't need that? And then for the Valkyrie, I don't know exactly where they're going to go. Obviously, until they have their expansion draft, a lot is up in the air. If you're the Valkyrie, you have to go for a long shot in the draft. You know, the reality of the situation is you're going to be bad this year, and then you're going to be bad next year. And then once you're bad 2 years in a row, you can get Juju. And if Juju goes to the Valkyrie, that would be great for the Valkyrie, and that would be great for the league also. And yeah, that would be awesome. But for this draft, I would take Moro. Um, Moro is I would think Moro was dominant at the Paul, and if she can be like a quarter, if she can be half of the rebounder that Angel Reese was, or her expanded offensive bag, I think she'd be a good place. She could be somebody you could at least potentially run your team off of, run your scoring out of, run your scoring around at the beginning of your existence as a franchise. The other two picks I would think about if I were the Valkyrie are Dominique Malonga from France. France and the WNBA are hard to work with scheduling. And if you're drafting someone as a Valkyrie, you want to draft somebody who's going to play. I think that's obviously the best move. But if you can, if she expresses interest to play, she is 6'4" and very agile. And she's the type of person who could end up being really good, who could end up being one of the best players in the league if she pans out. The other long shot I might take is Sedona Prince. Obviously, riding off the high of this game where she just dropped 31. But at 6'7", the way she can move, if she can keep that expanded range at the long two and potentially move out to three, then wow, she can be a real problem to deal with. Number three, I have UCLA. Tamia Gardner, just wow. I mean, I said this last time I talked about UCLA, but this game she shot 7 of 11 from three. At 6'3", that's insane. That is really good. That is, speaking of the draft, somebody who needs to get drafted. 6'3", 7'11" from three. Wow, she looked amazing. The team looked really good. I mean, they put up 101 against Arkansas, which I don't think Arkansas is any slouch. So beating them by 50 is crazy. They looked fluid. That's what I was excited about. When I watched UCLA the first game, they did not look like a real team. But that was the first game, and that's how it goes. And this time they looked a lot better. They looked really fluid. Lauren Betts is such a good passer. I mean, being able to have a 6'7" center that is not only a dominating force inside, but can kick it out to Gabriel Jaquez or to Tamia Gardner now is just amazing. And that's a difference maker. And obviously Lauren Betts is a difference maker, but she is just very good and the team is very good. The two questions I have for UCLA are one with Janai Barker. I think she had 15 points at the time I stopped watching, but most of those came in like the fourth quarter when the game was over. And I think they're going to need to figure out a way to get her involved in the offense earlier. I mean, it might not make a difference, but she is totally the person who can come in and make a difference with her speed and length and athleticism when we're talking about playing a good team or we're talking about in the tournament. So they just really need to figure out a way to get her involved earlier. The other thing is, and now overreaction, sure, probably, but Is it possible that UCLA is better without Kiki Rice? I mean, I like the freshman. I thought she ran the offense well. She can obviously pass. She had 11 assists this night, and I think she's faster than Kiki Rice. She can shoot better. She didn't shoot great this game, but she took 6, which means she can shoot, and which means Corey Coast trusts her to shoot, and she shot better in previous nights. So is it possible that UCLA is better without Kiki Rice on the court? I don't know. It's very early. She played a little bit. I'm glad that she is feeling good enough to at least get out there, and I'm excited to see what they look like later on in the season. Number 4, the team I'm talking about now and will never stop talking about. UConn is winning it all. I mean, you can't convince me. Otherwise, there's nothing you can say. UConn is amazing. Paige is just so good. Paige is not supposed to be playing college basketball. She's way too good for this. It's too easy for her. She had 16 points in the first quarter, and she could have kept doing it if they needed her to. And that's the crazy part. And Paige is just so good. Paige is so good. She can do anything. We all know that. I don't even know how to say that. She looks great. The biggest thing that I was happy about with UConn is in the 5 or so minutes where Paige didn't play, they looked good. Like they were able to move the ball. That is amazing. Between KK and Caitlin Chin and Ashton Shade, they were able to have some ball movement, which is a huge deal come playoff times because you don't want them to be like Iowa without Caitlin Clark or even like UConn without Paige sometimes last year where they are just looking like lost. And, obviously part of that is Miss Sarah Strong, who is amazing, who's so good as advertised. She had a great game. She's just so big and so versatile on both offense and defense. As soon as her 3 stops falling, it's over. As soon as her 3 starts falling, it's over for the league. It's scary hours. Like we're talking player of the year. I cannot see a world where she doesn't get player of the year by her senior year. I mean, that seems like a given. Sarah Strong is just amazing. She is so good. And UConn has so much depth. I can't remember a time where UConn had this much depth, except maybe Paige's first year. But wow, they look great. I want a little bit more of getting Jana involved in the offense. There were a couple times where she was posting up, and I felt like we could have passed her the ball, if only just to get her comfortable with playing against college basketball level talent. Because she's a freshman, she's young, so I would love to see her get involved a little bit earlier. But she has some big buckets at the end, and UConn is just so good. They're winning it all. You can't tell me otherwise. Okay, to end it off, the mailbag. Oklahoma dropped 122 points. I talked about them last week when they won by 40. This week they won by 66. They won by 66 and dropped 122 points. That is insane. Reagan Beers had 27. So they scored almost 100 points without her. That's crazy. Also, 122 is just crazy. You probably stop trying after 100. So to score 122 is wild. I can't wait until they play a real team in the first week of December. But they look great. Speaking of ranked, Michigan should be ranked. I don't understand why not. Olivia Olson had a great game, 23 points. Silas Swords, freshman of the year, top 25 in the WA, top 20 in the Silas Swords, top 20 in women's college basketball. Definitely not the WNBA, but top 20 in women's college basketball. Didn't have the best game, dropped 16, but still impactful on defense and in the assists part of the ball, just handling the offense. Michigan should be ranked. I don't know why not. Georgia Amore looks short, which obviously she's the same height as she was at Virginia Tech, but for some reason she felt short this game. I don't know. Maybe it was that they were doubling her and they were denying the ball to her, but it looked like she just could not pass around the defenders that Louisville was throwing at her, and it kind of threw her off. And for the first time, I was like, oh, she kind of looks short. So I'm sure it's very early in the season. Other teams will try to deny her the ball like Louisville was doing because Kentucky's offense needed Georgia to have the ball. But Kentucky will find their way around it. Kenny Brooks will figure out a way to get her open, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. But she looked short. Shout out to Hermione Turner, who dropped 41 and 38 for Harvard this week. Another shout out to Britt Pence. She's a freshman from Nebraska, dropped 23, but the way she was scoring looks like a problem. I mean, she was shooting it from three. She was doing a layup. She had like this drive to the free throw line behind the back pop. She was doing that a lot. So just the 3-level score. She looks like she might be scary for Nebraska in the future. And then last mailbag, LSU. Fladre looks great. That's awesome. I haven't watched. I've just been watching highlights because she doesn't play any real people. But LSU looks good, and Fladre leading is what they need. I'm super excited for when they play Stanford on December 6th. Okay, that's all. Peace.